the red button.
There you go. I just have to make sure the streaming is working. So hold on one second.
You're a good boy, aren't you, Zero? You're a good boy.
Talking to his dog.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just make sure we're live. 1 second. Yeah, hold on 1 second, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Marlon. I don't know what's going on. The streaming is having an issue, but I am going to say we just start if you want. Okay?
Okay.
Marlon?
Okay.
All right, let me record it.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Planning and Zoning Board meeting taking place today, Thursday, August 20th at 5 p.m. This is a virtual meeting. Notice is hereby given that the Planning and Zoning Board meeting of the town of Pembroke Park, Florida, will hold a virtual meeting utilizing communications media technology in accordance with Governor Ron DeSantis Executive Order number 20-69, dated March 20th, 2020, pertaining to conducting local government meetings while under the public health emergency related to the spread of coronavirus. The Planning and Zoning Board meeting is going to be held today, Thursday, August 20th at 5 p.m. You can dial in using the following number, 1-877-568-4106. Again, the number is 1-877-568-4106. There's also an additional number, which is 1-646-749-3129. 1-646-749-3129. The access code is 352-617-477. 2 hours prior to the meeting, you can submit a text or voicemail at 954-707-9820. Any member of the public wishing to comment publicly on any matter, including on items of the agenda, may submit their comments and email to the deputy town clerk at townofpembrokepark.com. All comments submitted by email that, if read orally, are 3 minutes or less, shall be read into the record. All comments submitted by email shall be made a part of the public record. If any member of the public requires additional information about this town commission, zoning board meeting, or as any questions about how to submit a public comment at the meeting, please contact Marlene Martel, Deputy Town Clerk, Town of Pembroke Park, 3150 Southwest 52nd Avenue, Pembroke Park, Florida 33052, or they can call me at 954-966-4600 35. Meeting is called to order at 5:05.
Okay.
We can now start the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
The
the
flag of the United States of America,
Republic
to the republic for which it
Stand.
stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you so much. Now we'll go on to roll call. Mr. Jenser. Mr. Genzer? Mr. Genzer?
I'm having problems with this hearing.
Mr. Genzer? Sir?
David, you.
David is here.
Okay, that's Mr. Roach. Okay, Mr. Genzer?
Yeah, they're looking at your ear.
Mr. Malley?
Here.
Ms. Benedy?
Yes, here.
Technology.
Mr. Genzer, can you hear us?
No.
No.
I'm here.
Okay, perfect.
I can't
Thank
hear.
you, Mr. Genzer. Okay, Mr. Miller, you have a quorum.
Stop.
The first item is the site plan development of O'Reilly Auto Parts at 4700 Allendale Beach Boulevard.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening,
evening.
Mr. Miller.
I need
Welcome, Joanne. Glad you joined us. We have one item on the agenda this evening. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'll try to get as close as I can to the camera and the microphone.
Mr. Miller, if I could just 1 second, just want to make sure of a couple of things. We don't have any additions, deletions, or withdrawals for the agenda, correct?
Not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
unless any other board members.
And at the present time, I don't have any public comment. The other young lady that is on the screen, she's the applicant, correct?
Yes,
Ms. Rubio? Okay, perfect. Okay, go right ahead.
okay. We have one item on the agenda this evening. This is a site development plan for a proposed O'Reilly's Auto Parts store. The site is located at 4700 West Hollandale Beach Boulevard. For those of you that know where the Dollar General store is at Hollandale Beach Boulevard and 48th Avenue. The parcel of land is a little bit bigger at the southeast corner of that intersection. A couple of years ago, the owners of the land asked the town if they could split it up into 3 pieces. They went through a administrative subdivision. The corner piece of 48 was developed with the Dollar General store. The O'Reilly's site is in the middle. The eastern site currently has a billboard on it. And to the east of that is the new shopping center 4520 that was built a couple of years ago with the subway and so forth. So it might be a little while, before the last piece is developed with the billboard there. They might have to deal with whoever owns that, but this is for the middle piece. When the plat was done for this property, or the replat, the design included like an internalized driveway system with cross-access easements for people to drive from site to site, and also for utilities. Because the site is located on Hollandale Beach Boulevard, which is a state highway, they strictly control driveway access to their road. And currently the DOT's goal is to limit the number of driveway cuts, spread them out, make people jointly use driveways, and internalized driveway connections to keep the road functioning as more of a through road rather than just people slowing down to turn or pulling out unexpectedly. We started this review with the applicant a little while ago, a couple years ago actually, and there were a number of early reviews. There was some issues with some of the correctness of the location of the easements on some of the drawings. We worked with them. There was some delays on their part. We kind of didn't hear from them for long periods of time, but finally it has come together. We were starting to move in early March, in February, and we had scheduled the last DRC meeting, and then we got the notice to shut down City Hall for the virus. So we got delayed again, and finally now where the technology has caught up where we can have virtual meetings. We've had a number of them for DRC meetings, planning and zoning board meetings, and almost all the council meetings that I'm aware of, commission meetings, are now done virtually. City Hall has been kind of restricted, if you will, and some of the employees have tested, or we had people come in, so we're kind of compromised. This city and all the other cities that I work for are doing the best we can to move forward with reviews, approvals, and hold the required meetings, and provide an opportunity for the applicants to present their case, for the public to make comments if they wish to. They can always do that in writing, but in person. So that's where we are today. So this is kind of an infill piece, if you will. Again, the site is just east of the Dollar General site. It's about 0.8 acres, a little bit less than 1 acre in size. The new building would be centered in the middle of the site, if you will. It's slightly over 8,000 square feet. There's a double loaded parking area along Hollandale Beach Boulevard in front of the site, and there's a parking area behind the site. The cross-access easements go across the driveways in the front and the back of the building and connect from Dollar General site over to 48th Avenue and go to the easternmost site that is currently vacant, so that they will have some access in the future. Dollar General built the only driveway that would be allowed to Hollandale Beach Boulevard. So when you come into that driveway, you could turn immediately into the O'Reilly site, if you will, to the left, or go right into the Dollar General site. If you choose to travel down on 48th Avenue, there's a driveway that connects behind Dollar General. Through an easement, it goes across the back and will connect to this site and eventually to the easternmost site. So all planned out, utilities can be extended easily. The building is the typical O'Reilly's store, if you will, pretty attractive, modern architecture, but with some brick and other upgrades, if you will, not just a box, if you will. So it's kind of easy to deal with. There's 27 parking spaces required and provided, which includes ADA spaces. There is an accessible path from the building out to the sidewalk on Hollandale Beach Boulevard, which is required. The landscaping will utilize the common palette for that property. And along Hollandale, they are required to put the royal palm trees that the town requires along there these days. Nothing real fancy about this one. I don't know that I have much more to add. We did the customary impacts to the infrastructure in the staff report, which I guess I should identify as dated August 14th, 2020 from our office. That's being entered into the record for the benefit of the public. Because the building is not that big, it won't generate much traffic if they use the common engineering standards, just below 500 trips per day, which means there's about 18 trips in the morning and 48 trips in the busiest hour of the afternoon. So not much traffic. This section of Hollandale Beach Boulevard, while it's more congested near I-95, the further west you go towards to this site, the traffic drops off as people go into the neighborhoods. So it's estimated that there's about 30,000 cars plus or minus on this section of the road today. The accepted standard is about 32.7 to keep it at level service D, which is a pretty common denominator rather than sitting in traffic light after traffic light, which is level of service E or F, like your kids go to school and get the bad grades. Not much water and sewer service for a small business like this. So the DRC has reviewed this. The fire department was involved. There'll be some extensions of water lines and fire hydrants. So the DRC had recommended approval subject to certain conditions. We've included those in our staff report. Number one, of course, the plans reference a specific set of plans, which was the last one that we looked at, which is June 10th. The exterior colors preliminarily are fine. When they eventually get to that point, there's the normal application form. They have to be consistent with the town's color palette, which they seem to be right now. The roof, on the roof area, we believe the air conditioning units are on the roof. They're not shown on the ground anywhere. There is a raised parapet on the building. So we're suspecting that the units are behind that. The code says that all mechanical units have to be screened. So whatever the parapets will screen is fine. If anything's sticking above there, it may need additional screening. The building architecture, condition number 3, states that commercial buildings can't look like a box. We encourage sloped roof surfaces and or enhanced architecture. The standard building in this case is a little upgraded architecture and it includes nicer materials, not just a box with stucco on it. So we believe that the building meets the criteria of the code. 4 is the customary comment that the impact fees have to be paid prior to permits for both Broward County and town. And the last condition is just a reminder that once the town commission approves the site plan, that permits have to be submitted within 18 months or the site plan expires. Attached to our, our staff report is the application form, the concurrency analysis, some correspondence and property identification, maps and so forth. So that completes our recommendation in our presentation. It's usually customary to let the applicant make comments if they wish to at this time, and then the board can get into question and answers. I'll be happy to answer any initial comments or questions that the board has, or we can move right to the applicant if you wish.
I just had one question, Mr. Miller. This is Robert Janzer.
Yes, sir.
I've reviewed the plans. I personally don't have any issues with anything there. The question is this going to be a shared ingress and egress from Hallandale Boulevard between the dollar store and O'Reilly's?
Yes, sir. As I explained, the DOT is pretty strict these days with driveway cuts. So they limit where they can. Since the Dollar General site was built first and they wanted the driveway access, they negotiated with DOT to be at the far east end of their site as far as they could, away from the signal at 48th Avenue. So they built the driveway and built that site first. This site and the one in the future east of this site will have to use that same driveway cut, come into the site and then turn into the site. So there will not be any more driveway cuts into this property. So the answer is yes, they will share the existing driveway cut.
Will this be the original driveway that O'Reilly that Dollar General put in, or will it be modified for O'Reilly?
No, it'll be exactly as it is today.
Okay.
If you've been to the site and you drive in there, it's the asphalt stubs out right to that property line, and there's some bollards there right now to prohibit people from going in and dumping and doing whatever. So they stubbed out right to where the driveway connection will be, which is connected, directly, so you don't have an offset for traffic accidents on the site. It was all lined up across the front.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Hey, this is David Roach, Michael.
Yes, sir.
As far as O'Reilly's, are they, with this entrance off Houndale Beach Boulevard, will they be able to put up a sign or anything? Because I can see people going right by that thing, looking for an entrance and missing it, going east on Houndale Beach Boulevard.
Well, they are proposing both a building sign and a ground monument sign, which is shown on the plans. It's about midpoint on their property. They could choose to move it closer to the entrance. Generally, you know, people that are in today's world that are looking to go to any place, and particularly an auto parts store, there's not a lot of traffic to begin with. But, you know, I'm an old guy, but my kids take their phone and they put in the address and it tells them, go over here, turn right, turn left, and you go to wherever you're supposed to go. Most people know where the auto parts store is. So, you know, they are having signage. I think, you know, people will become familiar with it, where it is. And they can see where the driveway is when you come up to this property, coming eastbound, if you will. Now, anybody going westbound, you know, can't turn in here. So they're going to have to go to 48 and either go south and come in the back way or make a U-turn, which is a little clumsy, but there is an arrow there. But so they do have signage. They chose to put it in the middle of the property. I believe Dollar General's is near the driveway entrance, just to the west of that. But that's the answer.
Very good. Also, one last question. They have kind of lingered on this for a while. Are they really, and this is probably a question for the person that I'm looking at also, the owner here, or the representative, are they really interested in following through on this project, or has Corona caused a problem? Because they seem to be delaying, and